Myspace Properties welcomes you to Shanzu, Mombasa County, to this beautiful beachfront piece of heaven, sitting on 6 acres of land and selling at only 400 million. This space is suitable for beach houses, resorts, apartment developments and recreational facilities, offering panoramic views of the waters and easy access to the beach. Reach us now for a site visit and for more details.
Mindspace podcasts, the only space, the only real estate we don't sell. This is Mindspace podcast, and today we are very lucky to have a special guest with us today. A guy full of energy, a guy full of vigor. He's a guy I really like his moves, and I like the energy he brings anywhere he goes. And as I always, if I see an interesting person out there, somebody who I think is of value, remember we only deal with only qualified people. And that's why today I brought you a quality person, and that will be Griffin Omwenga is here with us today. Salimiana Griffin.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Mafanzoto Mwenda, I'm very humbled, I should say profoundly, to be here today, and immensely gratified to be on Mindspace today. Thank you very much, Mwenda, in advance for hosting me today, and I'm looking forward to having a very fantastic conversation about, generally life and everything around it.
Good.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Sure.
So, who's Griffin?
Griffins Omwenga is a father of 3 beautiful daughters, Amanda, Kamala, and Tamara. Mm-hmm. I have one wife, and so far so good, and I'm an accountant by schooling, coach by life, by following my passion. I started my career as a journalist, then I totally pivoted, went into the financial services sector. Mm-hmm. I sold insurance, that's where I made a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Then I went out, I became a training manager. Then around 2017-18, I started my own stuff. I opened my own company called the Besthouse Consult. Mm-hmm. Because all this time, in all places that I've worked, I realized that I worked very well in trying to excavate people's ambitions and aspirations, and trying to see how can we get people to really find their true north in terms of what were people born to do. And as I always tell you, there are 2 types of people. There are people that we have human beings, and we have human doings.
So what's the difference?
You are born a human being. As Mwenda, you are a human being. Yeah. And most people do not really find their true north. Mm-hmm. So they end up being human doings. Mm-hmm. They're just doing things because, they have to, probably pay bills, mm-hmm. Take kids to school, or maybe you feel like you're frustrated. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, Mwenda, it's only 1% of the world's population mm-hmm. that really find what they were born to be. And that's why you are called a human being. I mean, you are being what you were born to be. Yeah. But people are human doings. So they do what is humanly possible to survive. Yeah. So what we have, basically, people are surviving. Mm-hmm. Very few people are doing what they were born to do. Okay. They're just doing things. So for me, they're human doings. They're just doing it. Yeah. You're doing it to pay school fees. You're doing it to pay rent. Mm-hmm. You're doing it to please people, probably. Mm-hmm. But the moment you have a meeting with yourself, then you ask yourself, who was I born to be? Mm-hmm. Then I say, I want to be a human being. Mm-hmm. Therefore, mm-hmm. you start following your true north. Mm-hmm. You follow your passion. Mm-hmm. And to get to that point, I'm telling you for sure, mm-hmm. it's not an easy task. You really have to, you really have to have a serious conversation, with yourself. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how can somebody discover their true north?
It's a process. Mm-hmm. In scientific parlance, people call it, I want to actualize now. Mm-hmm. You realize that people, when they're close to, retiring, people, when they have bought everything, probably somebody has worked for 40, 50 years, then that's when you realize that somebody probably has begun a particular venture. Then you ask them, where have you been all this time? For you to find your true purpose, for you to find your meaning in life, for you to find what you are born to be, for you to be a human being, you must ask yourself, are you paid to pay the price? Because that is now going for greatness. You know, when God brought you into this world, he had a purpose for you. So God has a purpose for you, but then there are challenges in life. So people get confused in the mire of what I call the whirlwind. The whirlwind is probably your daily job. Do you know that if you get people into a room and you ask them, where do you want to be in the next 3 or 4 or 5 years? Not many people will get to answer that question. People don't know where they want to be. People do not have a chart and a map for their life. For them, it's one day after the other. Most of other people, they live their lives because of their bosses, you know, for instance. So if the boss is tomorrow you're going somewhere, then they head there. Very few people can find their true purpose. Because why? In life, there's a tug of war between the urgent and the important. So urgent things work on you. They push you. They want you to work on them. But important things call on you to be intentional about them. They lurk in a corner. They just stay there. They watch you from a distance. Because there are things that are very important to you in your life. Probably it's something that you need to do for you to follow your passion. But now, because they are urgent things, because there's something like rent that is falling due, kuna madeni, I mean, you have everything that you have to do, then you say, hey, let me stop this one, let me do something else. So in street parlance, or in the University of Hard Knocks out there, people say, like, nafanya kitu nashikilia tu, you know. I'm just doing it. I'm holding brief here as I wait for something more serious to come on board. So for you to find a true meaning and what you are born to do, it takes a lot of, you know, I mean, I can tell you, it's very, very difficult to align yourself with your true calling, because it means you have to shut your ears and to total nonsense. Because imagine if the moment you get serious with your life, you're losing your friends, sometimes you even lose your family. Because people will think, because the moment you say, I'm getting serious with my life now, I really want to follow my true north, then what happens is, in the beginning, you're going to suffer. You're going to really, I mean, it's very difficult. You have been a businessman. Trust you me, I'm sure you have a story and a half to tell.
Of course.
And you know what it takes. So how many years does it take for you to take that sacrifice? How many people are willing to pay that price for greatness? Now, in my coaching, I usually ask people, you're coming in and you're telling me you really want to pursue your dream. Then I ask them, where are you in the station of life? So maybe probably somebody is working and they're earning something like maybe 100 or 150,000. Then at that time they have loans, already children have come, they are going to school. It's not difficult to sell the idea to this person that, hey, I don't think this is what you're born to do. Because that person will weigh between taking care of the urgent things, school fees, food, rent, vis-a-vis following the most important things. As I've told you, urgent things work on you. Important things, you have to work on them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Were you a pastor at some point?
Everybody keeps telling me that I should open a church if the calling comes. I mean, if I get inspired and the grace of God says I was born to be a pastor, why not? I mean, I love listening to the likes of T.D. Jakes, like Joel Austin. I miss the late Miles Monroe. So at the end of the day, I mean, God is the one who man proposes, but it's God who disposes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that might not be your true north. I
do not know, but what I believe. I don't think that what we do is far off than what... in fact, occasionally, I offer the word of God in church, occasionally.
Nice.
So very, very occasionally, though. So who knows? I mean, and I really know the Bible very well. How many wives did Abraham have?
Sarah.
Andrew.
Oh, and the maid.
And the maid. What was her name? Haggai,
yes. Correct.
Was she called Haggai?
Something like that.
Yes. Then he had a concubine. Yeah.
Okay.
Keturah.
Keturah.
So I know the Bible very well.
Okay, good.
Do you know Abraham had a concubine?
You know, I'm hearing that from you.
Aye, come on. Abraham had 3 wives.
3 wives.
Sarah, Agai, and Keturah. And actually, Keturah bore him a child.
Uh-huh.
Yes, Sarah told Abraham, go with this girl, you know, go and have the baby. But then, in between, the Bible is very clear. The Bible says Abraham, the father of all nations, had a girl, a woman called Keturah.
Okay.
I'm not trying to say that you're going to get another Keturah. I'm saying Abraham.
Father Abraham.
Father Abraham.
Yes. So now, like the shift. Oh, just a moment. Let's appreciate our people who are here with us.
Okay, sure.
We see Adiel Mugambi. Hello. Hey, Adiel Mugambi is with us every Thursday. We appreciate you. Riga Nogura. Adiel Mugambi is watching from Matu, Dala. Basit Mahmoud. Raban Gitonga. Mrisho. Majul SK. Laban Gitonga. Watching from Maua huko kwetu Meru. Daniel Amol, Mayen, Max Miller, Visha Kashyap, watching from India. Mwenda DM, Brian Karani, Newton Twiga, Daniel Mugambi, Tukorada. Rod Rewis Mugambi is watching. Princess Teti, this is my friend from Meru. Hey, tuned in from Kiegoi. We don't have an idea where we want to be in the next 5 years. Asante kwa kusema ukweli. Princess Teti. Mike Moturi, William Kenoti, tuned in from Kobo Meru. I always like listening from the CEO's mind and way of doing things. Karibu.
Thank you.
Rai Mats, Amid Sahid, Kenneth Kimadi, Pastor Frida Stephen, hey, somebody came here for inspiration. Timothy Mwirigi, tuned in. Kalbat Kavatra, Mutugi Eric, Njite David, Winnie Soni, Martin Adogo, tuned in from Kikuyu, and Vanessa Magiri. Hey, huyu ni mpoa wangu pia anakuanga hapa.
Excellent.
To make sure I stick to the truth and truth only.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Good stuff.
So now, at first you are working for a banking institution?
No. At first I was working. My first place of employment was at NMG.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or Nation Media Group?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
As you can see from my face, I was meant for the newspaper. So I was writing papers, yeah.
Writing papers?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So now, how was the shift? I know many people, especially people in employment, especially now we are talking about finding your true north, to shift from, let's say, where you have a guaranteed salary, systems and everything, to jump to do your own things, to come in the hustling field. How was your shift? How was the shift for you?
I think for me, first of all, the thing is about personality, because I left KU. I got my job when I was still in campus at KU. And this is where I thank my mentor, Wino Opondo, who came to college and challenged me to take an assignment. It was a management training program, when organizations come to universities and they want to, identify talent and put them through management training programs to join organizations. So I got into Nation Media Group way back in 2011-12. And I was lucky enough to go through the process, and I got lucky to be, employed. So I worked for NMG for 2 years and 7 months. But the first year was about management training. I was in class for 9 months. Then I worked, ideally actively working maybe 1.5 years. But it was a very distinguished tour of duty, because that's what gave me my foundation into the corporate world. And then, but all this time, I was really like, at first I thought, I would go into TV probably. And I remember I tried to tell my boss that I think my voice is good for TV, but I was told my voice was bad. So I totally, got disenfranchised, I got disenchanted, I got disillusioned, and I totally, threw away that idea. And so I started just, once in a while we used to have a program where we used to go out there and talk about careers. And from the print side, I used to be told, come, let's go and talk about careers and go to universities. So every time that we went out there, I remember when question time came, people used to really ask me a lot of questions. And I was like, hey, it seems there's some element of connection between me and the audience. So one day I went to give a talk in Kisii University. I was invited. Then when I came back, my boss was on my case, not my most immediate boss, the overall boss. So I felt very bad, and I felt as if, because he asked me it was a very unbecoming question, if I may put it like that, in a soft way. Then I'm like, anyway, he was taking care of the corporate space because somebody had said that I'd gone there to speak when I was not the corporate affairs manager at NMG. So there was it was totally thrown out of proportion. At that time, I really had this urge that I want to go out there and follow my heart. So I said I want to resign, and I left. So it was very, very difficult because that time I have my siblings were depending on me. We were staying in Kahawa Wendani, because I was just near KU. So I have my 3 sisters. We were staying together, and it was crazy. But I just walked away, and everybody else thought I was crazy.